The Wave That Waited. The morning smelled of salt and wet earth. In the sleepy fishing village, nets were hauled ashore, and the sea glittered under a sky that felt too still. Pak Idris, the oldest fisherman, sat cross-legged on the steps of his bamboo hut, sipping bitter coffee. Beside him lay an empty bamboo leash. His loyal dog, Raka, had not come home. The old radio crackled to life. "Attention, a tsunami is expected. Evacuate immediately." The words struck like a hammer. Within minutes, the village exploded into motion. A neighbor cried, "Pak Idris, come with us!" But the old man stood firm. "I cannot leave without Raka," he said, hands trembling. Ignoring frightened looks, Idris took the sandy path toward the beach, calling Raka's name, searching under boats, near drying racks, beneath the pier. Then he saw it, the sea pulling back. Glistening seabed lay exposed, littered with wriggling fish. "Raka!" Idris shouted, and at last a bark. Near the exposed reef, Raka stood barking, tail stiff, urging him to climb the hill. Halfway to the slope, Raka stopped, barking at a massive fishing boat toppled near a palm. Beneath it came a faint cry. Idris crouched beside the overturned boat and peered inside. A little girl sat quietly in the shadows, clutching her knees, her eyes wide. Idris extended his hand, his voice calm. The girl hesitated, then slowly placed her tiny hand in his. Raka barked once, then stepped toward the hill, glancing back as if to say, "This way." Idris helped the girl to her feet. She stayed close to him, clutching his vest, as Raka waded ahead. The hill path was steep, but Idris guided the girl gently, step by step, as Raka stayed just ahead. At the crest, Idris turned once to look back. The village below lay silent under a sky that seemed to hold its breath. They found shelter under a large tree. Idris sat down, letting the girl lean against him, while Raka lay beside them. Hours passed. Idris stayed awake, watching the horizon. The wind slowly eased and silence filled the air. When night came, the girl finally fell asleep, her head resting on Idris's shoulder. The three stayed huddled under the tree. When dawn broke, the clouds thinned slightly. Idris watched the horizon glow with pale light as the sea lay calm again. They looked down at the village below, scattered huts, broken nets, and a beach still shining with puddles. Faint voices called out through the morning air. Other villagers were returning from the inland road. A group of weary neighbors reached the hill. They saw Idris with the girl and Raka, and their faces lit up with relief. A woman broke into tears. "She's alive!" she cried. The girl rushed into her arms. Idris exhaled, a long and quiet breath. Later that morning, they walked back to the shoreline together, stepping carefully through the wet sand and broken wood. They stood quietly, taking in what was left. The village was scarred, but not gone. By midday, they began gathering bamboo and nets, slowly piecing their home back together. Day by day, the villagers worked side by side. Idris tied new bamboo posts, while the girl carried small bundles of rope. In the evenings, Idris showed the girl how to mend fishing nets. She watched his hands carefully, copying his motions. Raka had grown fond of her too, letting her toss bits of wood for him to fetch as the village grew quieter again. One evening, they sat together by the fire, sharing a simple meal of rice and fish. The girl laughed for the first time. Some nights, Idris spoke softly of the sea, its kindness and its power. The girl listened, eyes wide. Soon the nets were ready. The villagers hung them out to dry, fluttering gently in the wind. The first repaired boat touched the water again. Villagers pushed together, smiling quietly. When the boat floated, the girl laughed and clapped, the sound carrying across the quiet beach. One quiet morning, Idris walked to the shore with Raka and the girl. The waves rolled gently under the gray sky. As the sun rose higher, Idris struck the wooden kulkul drum. Its deep sound rolled across the coast, not as a warning, but as a prayer of thanks.